Welcome to Das Geek. I'm very excited to share that DuckDuckGo, one of my favorite privacy protecting companies, has a new product on the market, and I really do think it's worth your consideration. Now, right up front, they didn't pay me, they didn't reach out to me and ask me to do this, so this is just of my own accord here that I want to share this information with you because I'm a huge believer in DuckDuckGo and what they've done. If you're not familiar with them, real quick, they're a search engine. There are many other things now, but they're a search engine. So you can go to duckduckgo.com and do your searches and replace Google with it. The difference between them is Google has all of this data on you. And when you search for something like paper towels in Google, right, they're going to take all of this information that they've gathered, and the ad companies are going to put trackers on there. So what you do before you went to the paper towels and search for paper towels, what you did afterwards, all that's going to be tracked. And they're going to conglomerate that information and even do things potentially like say, hey, Ryan's more likely to pay more for paper towels today, so we're going to show him higher prices. And all of this manipulation and crap and tracking that I don't want. DuckDuckGo, on the other hand, they still want companies to be able to serve ads and make money. They want to make money. And one of the things with privacy is if there's a company that's offering everything for free, it's really suspicious. If there's no money trail, well, the money trail with DuckDuckGo is simple. You search for paper towels, you may get a paper towel ad, but that's it. There's no tracking attached to it. There's no history that they're keeping of what you did before and after. It's just done. You get the paper towel ad. And if you want to click it, you can. If you don't, then you move on. And this is just a much more fair way and privacy protecting way of doing a search engine. Well, DuckDuckGo really became important to me when they released their browser on mobile devices, iPhone, Android, in which they had something built in called app protection. And if you download the browser, go into your settings, you can turn on app protection. And what this does is block all of these apps from collecting your data. And if you turn this on, I promise you, you will be shocked at the companies and how many trackers that they have on you and how many times a day it's trying to track your data. It is absolutely shocking. I'm talking just your banking apps, apps that you think are just, completely benign, end up being some of the worst offenders out there. So absolutely love that they have that. But DuckDuckGo has a new service that they're wanting to sell out there that caught my attention. I'm signing up for it, and I want to make you aware of it as well. It's called DuckDuckGo Privacy Pro. Now, the important thing with us privacy people is we have to put our money where our mouth is. If we're saying privacy is important and we're willing to pay for some of these services and you can afford it, I definitely think we should be supporting companies like this that have always put our privacy first. And that DuckDuckGo app protection, by the way, that's been free since I did that video, which I don't know, has got to be over 6 months old. It's been free. They've charged nobody for it. And their search engine, same thing. They're not charging you to use their search engine. They're just making privacy a priority for themselves. So when they have a service like this, and it's a really great value, it gets my attention. So let's take a look at it. So the new service is called DuckDuckGo Privacy Pro, and it comes with three things. You get the DuckDuckGo VPN, which again, VPNs can be one of those things. We've had tons of them reach out on the podcast, Destination Linux, and everything else trying to advertise with us. But we have to be so cautious about this because there's so many creepy vendors out there with VPNs that are doing nothing about protecting your data. They're probably out there selling it or making it worse, but they're certainly keeping logs on you, and that goes against everything you should be getting a VPN for. When it comes to DuckDuckGo, I very, very much trust this company and would proudly use a DuckDuckGo VPN. And so you get a VPN service, you get personal information removal. Now, all of us who've been online for a while, I'm pretty old now, I'm in my 40s, and a lot of my information before I got into privacy and everything was out there on the web. And data brokers are still taking your information. When you go use one of your Kroger Plus cards or whatever, they're taking data from you and your credit card. They're tying it together, what you're buying, when you're buying it. Everybody's getting all this data. And data brokers go out there and they sell all this data. They get your personal address information, Social Security, all of this stuff. And so having personal information removal is really important because there's these sites that prey on people, and they are absolutely a virus in society in which they will take their criminal records from when they were young, people who've gone and changed their lives, and post them online, which creates all kinds of issues. It's not fair at all for somebody who has paid for their crimes, they're done, that anybody can just go search up and look them up and see, oh, so-and-so did something bad when they were younger or whatnot. They put all that information online, but everybody else too. All your information is out there. If you look at some of these sites and you just search for your name, you'll see that they've got your address, they've got your phone numbers, and people can pay $1. Sometimes it's free to get all of this information. The information is also often misleading. For instance, I don't have a criminal record, never been to jail, never sat in a jail cell. Yet, when I searched my own information up, there was a site that said, oh, we have potentially dangerous information on Ryan, maybe serve some jail time, something like that on the site that made it look like something bad or nefarious had happened. And that told me all I need to know, that these companies are just absolutely trash. And I wish our government actually would step in and stop this nonsense from happening, but they barely know what the internet is. So having a personal information removal service like this means that they go out to these data brokers, tell them, take your information off of there. And that really saves you tons of time. And also know that a lot of these forms, if you try to do it yourself, are deceptive. So there was one particular site that caught me that I want to talk about, in which it said, you want to remove your information from the site? I said, yes. It said, okay, we need your name. Okay, fair enough. We need the URL to the link you want removed from our site with your personal information. So I provided that. And they said, we need a phone number that matches the phone number we have on record, and an email address that matches the email address we had on record. So I put in the phone number and an email address that I figured they would have. And it said, wrong email address. Put another one in. And so stupidly, I put another one in. This is to request to have my information removed. I said, nope, doesn't match either. Put another one in. And at this point, I realized that as I'm putting this information in, it keeps telling me there's no email match, and they're collecting more data on me. I'm giving it to them through the removal form. And so having a service out here that actually can utilize the right legal jargon to get them to remove your stuff is really important, and made me realize just how scummy and scammy and mob-like these services are out there, really hurting people, and generally, as usual, hurting people who don't have the financial resources to fight against it. That's how this stuff works. They, if you're wealthy, you can pay to have all this removed, but always going after those less fortunate. And then there's identity theft restoration. So if your identity is stolen, a dedicated advisor, they're going to have somebody assigned to help you restore your stolen accounts, assist in recovering resulting financial loss, and help fix your credit report, which with all of these companies who are losing your data, every single day there's a new data breach, and they're not held accountable at all. I must have probably 3 or 4 services now of like credit monitoring that I've gotten for free because of all these data breaches. So they have a big data breach, they lose all your information. Here's some free credit monitoring. I've got credit monitoring stacked up through a couple companies now. It's insane. Nobody has any accountability with your data. And so having that type of protection is really important. Here's the kicker though. They're doing this for $9.99 a month or $99 a year. That is super cheap for these 3 services here, and something I absolutely personally am signing up for. So I'm going to go ahead and sign up for this and kind of give you a little bit of what it looks like on the other side of having this installed. Okay, so now we're on the DuckDuckGo app itself, and look at the app tracking protection. 1,805 tracking attempts in Pandora and 4 other apps in just the past hour. Now, I love Pandora for their music selection and choices, and the fact they give me a nice student discount in college, but this is ridiculous, right? They don't need all of this tracking. So I've signed up for the service though, and I'm going to go ahead and go into settings, and then we're going to look at some of the services we just got. So down here, you can see I have a subscription I can choose, and I can enter in the email to activate my subscription on this device here. So let me go ahead and do that. So now my Privacy Pro subscription is active on this device. So it was just that simple. And let's see what we've got. So user subscription on other devices, add an email address to activate your subscription on your other devices. So one of the things I don't like about DuckDuckGo that I want them to fix immediately, if they would be so kind, is there is not a Linux version of their browser. You can use DuckDuckGo, of course, in Firefox and other things. They have it on Mac, they have it on Android, iOS, and Windows. We need a Linux version, so DuckDuckGo, please fix that, as well as the VPN here. But remove your information from the internet is one of the first things that I want to get involved in here. In the DuckDuckGo browser for desktop, go to Settings, Privacy Pro, and click I have a subscription to get started. So this is where the Privacy Pro kind of falls on its face, right? Because I can't do this in Linux, which is very frustrating, but I do have other operating systems, so I'll go set that up and show you what that looks like. But please, DuckDuckGo, set this up in Linux. Come on. You're privacy focused. You got to have Linux. So, I love DuckDuckGo. I love using their search engine. I think the results are better than Google now. Google's search engine has gotten worse. DuckDuckGo has gotten much, much better. I'm frustrated because I made this video not realizing they did not have a Linux version of the browser. And it is frustrating that I had to go to another operating system to download the DuckDuckGo browser to set the stuff up. With that being said, the $9.99 a month just for the personal information removal service is well worth it to me. And the VPN service is, I have another VPN service that, I've done a whole video on. I would trust their VPN service and love to have it on my phone, and happy I have that option as well. And of course, the protection if I get hacked is a very nice bonus. So all in all, they need a Linux version. Like DuckDuckGo, please hear me out here. Your privacy, the work that you're doing is amazing. Not having a Linux version of your browser is a true travesty. The most privacy respecting operating system. You got to fix that like quickly. Other than that, you'll decide. Let me know in the comments, is it worth it for you? $99 a month, $9.99 a month to help support DuckDuckGo. Maybe they can use some of their development money here towards development for a Linux application. Really wouldn't be that difficult. In fact, the community would get behind and help build it for you if you just asked them. And we'd love to have you on the Destination Linux podcast to talk about just that as well. So consider that. But let me know in the comments what you think. Is this something you'll sign up for? And what are some other services that offer similar things that you trust out there? Love to know. And until next time, get out there and fill your brains.